This is the first part of a two-part series which shows you how to correctly format Microsoft Word. Okay, first let's have a quick look at some Word shortcuts. I'm not be going through all of the Word shortcuts. Will be just showing you the Word shortcuts that I frequently use. So for that, what I've done is I first put some text here so you can see what the shortcut key is and how I'm applying it. The first shortcut key which I tend to use is maybe a copy and paste. So Control C to copy, and then you place the cursor where you want it to be pasted, and you put Control V to paste. Similarly, you can do a cut and paste. So for example, if I put Control X to cut, and then I place the cursor where I want it to be, and I put Control V, that'll paste it. The next shortcut key that I'm going to show you is, again, I'll highlight this text, Control B to make it bold, and if you hit Control B again, it'll take away the bold. Then there is Control U to underline. Again, Control U will take away the underline. Control P will call up the print menu. Just close that back. And if you place a cursor where you want to put a page break and put Control Enter, that will quickly give you a page break. Now I'm just going to show you some other formatting options which you have. Like if I do Control L, that'll be, you can't see it very clearly here, so I will show it here. I'll highlight that. Control L is for left align, Control R is for right align. So I'll get it back to the left, Control L, and Control E is to center it, or to center text rather. So those are the basic shortcut keys that I wanted to show you. The next one which I wanted to show you is the paragraph marker, which I currently have on at the moment. So these are the paragraph markers, so that is turned on and off from here. I usually keep my paragraph markers on because when I'm editing it, they do not print. It's just for visual purposes, so you know what's happening in your Word document. I always keep my paragraph markers on. It looks like a P, so that's a handy indicator as to what's there. It shows the page breaks, section breaks. Without the paragraph markers, it's hard to say what's there at this moment, but as soon as you turn it on, you can see it. It also shows you spaces, and it shows you a lot of indicators of what's happening in your document, and it's very useful when you're formatting. So I would advise to keep it turned on. The next thing which I always tend to keep it turned on, especially when I'm using it with EasyFs Financials, is to see the fields. Again, it's a feature that enables you to see stuff, but it does not print, which is quite useful. How you turn on how to see the fields is you come into File, you go to Options, and under Options you will move to the Advanced tab, and in the Advanced tab you will scroll down to Show Document Content. Under the Show Document Content you will go to Field Shading, and I normally keep it on always. So what that does is it will keep any word fields always shaded. That way you can know that it is linked and it's a word field, and that way you will not accidentally overwrite a word field either which is created in Word or which has been created in EasyFs Financials. So I keep that one to always. You can set it to never, which means you'll never be able to see it, or you can select when selected, you will see it'll shade itself. I keep it to always because I like to see it on my document when I'm working with it. I will just open one which is from EasyFs, and I'll show you what I mean by the word field. So I'm just going to scroll up to the top. Now all of this was exported from EasyFs, So these are all word fields. As you can see, I'm going to toggle between word fields. I'm going to show you that shortcut key. It is Alt F9 and Alt F9 to come back to the data. So Alt F9 shows you the word field. So this is the name of the word field, and if you press Alt F9 again, it'll toggle back to the data that is held within that word field. Now these word fields have all been generated from the EasyFs financial statements. I'm just going to go back to that previous document. Now I'm going to just show you here, I'm going to insert a page number. So I'm going to go to page numbering, and I want a page number at the bottom, and I'm going to just select maybe this page number. As you can see, it's highlighted here as well as a word field. That's because it is a word field. So Alt F9 will show you the field, and Alt F9 to hide the field. So those are some of my favorites which I tend to use quite frequently. Now I'll show you how you can insert a cover page, but I'll also show you how you can create your own cover page. So first, quickly, how to insert a cover page. So if you go into insert, go to cover page, and you'll have a full selection of cover pages which you can select from. So I'm going to just select a simple cover page, and as you can see, it's inserted to the cover page. Now when it does this, what you don't see is, so if you double click to the header area, is that it creates a different first page. So that gets automatically set up when you click insert cover page. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to show you now is how you go about creating your own cover page. Now when using EasyFs financials, what I do is I don't use any of the word preset fields. That is because I use the fields that get generated from EasyFs financials and paste them in here. So the first thing I do is I get rid of this. So I would paste the word field. For example, I will come here, I will take the name of the entity, for example, find the name, XYZ Proprietary Limited. So selecting the word field again, you can click before the word field and you can highlight it, or you can just click before it and just press F11. It'll select the field, then you click Control C to copy, and I'll now get back to the document, Control V to paste it. I should first delete this one, Control V. Now a very quick format is to use style. I will show you how you set up styles, etc. later on in this video. So I set a style with the title. It comes in within these brackets here. So how you go about centering, you drag the right tab and you center it accordingly based on the right tab. Similarly, now this one will be the subtitle. So what I'm going to do is, first thing I do is get rid of the subtitle, and you can type, for example, for the year ended, and then what I do is I copy the word field again. Okay, I want these to be dynamic. I want it to change when it is updated by EasyFs financials. So I'll click there, press F11 again, the quick way to get it, copy, and I paste it here. Alright, again I would format this to being black, because I don't it prints better, especially for financial statements. You can also format these graphics, for example. So how you format the graphics is you can double click the graphics here, which gives you a pane where you can actually do some formatting, like, and what I do is I normally change the color to black. Again, I can come here and change the color again to black. The reason I change it to black is it prints better. So that's a format which you have created. Now Likewise, you can put the date here. Normally for the financial statement I don't insert the date, but if you like to say when it was created, you could select the current date. Again, I don't put that there, so again I delete that. Save with company field and the address. I don't use words owned fields. I tend to use the fields from EasyFs Financial. That way the fields comes from one source other than for the page numbering and maybe table of contents, etc. So there's quite a few which I do use from Word, but when it comes to the company information and information from the financials, I use it straight from EasyFs. Thereby it's coming from one source. Not that Word would produce that anyway. So the way to center down. Now this is a text box. Effectively, it's a text box, so you can create your own text boxes, and you can move it around pretty easily and center it and place it to where you would like it to be. Try not to put things too much towards the end, as it might fall out of the margin and not get printed, so that's something to look out for. So again, company name. Now I've put the company name there. Alternatively, I could have put the company name at the bottom and call this financial report, for example. So let me just copy this. Copy, Control C to copy, and I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to delete that first. Control V. Then address, maybe I won't be putting an address in here. That'll be within the statement itself. So I'm going to just delete that. So I just put the company name there, and I could just call this one. Just put the cursor there and I hit delete. It selects it. Delete again will delete the field, and I will call that, say, financial report, for example. Again, I'll use my title formatting for that. Let's change the title formatting to that. So, but I just want it to be black. Okay, so I changed it back to black. So yeah, so that's how you go about quickly creating a cover page. Now, this is something you may not want to be doing always, and you might want to save your own cover page. So how you go about saving your cover page? You go back into insert, and then in insert you get cover page, and you can, the first thing you need to do is to select everything on your cover page which you've just created. So the easiest way to do is you come towards the margin like so, and as soon as you click it, the margin, now that selected the first one. So what you do is you click it and you can just drag it down. So first thing you do is you make sure you select all of the items which are on your first page, like that. Make sure that nothing else is selected, and once you have selected your items, you come here and you press the cover page or click on cover page, and you come to save. Now you can save this as whatever you like. I'm going to call it FS2. This way I already have created one for myself, and I'm going to say cover page for EasyFs Financials. Alright, and I'm going to just I'm going to also select it to group it into a report, because this I consider it to be a report of financial statements. So I click OK. So that immediately saves it here. So that's easy. The one we just created. I've created one previously, which just to show you how you can use it. So I'm just going to be on the first page again here, or maybe I'll just delete this cover page so that you can see it being inserted. So I've just gotten rid of the cover page that we created after I have saved it, and if you want to insert it again, you would just come here, you come to cover page, and you can click on the cover page which we just saved, and you get your cover page back up again. So that's a quick way of creating and saving your cover page. Okay, now I'm going to just quickly show you how you can use styles, how to create your own styles and how you can save an entire style set so that you can use it whenever you feel like using it, that particular style set. Now, using a style is very simple. You just highlight the text which you are going to be using, and as soon as you select the style, it'll apply the style. Now, normal is the base style for body text. You can also have no spacing for body text or normal. So when it comes to the styles, you can get quite a few styles from the design tab over here. So these are different styles which you can use. Okay, so as soon as you select the style, as you can see, as I'm hovering, it's showing you what the document would look like if the styles were applied. Now, I have not applied much styles to this document, so therefore you can't see too much in terms of physical change other than the spacing of the documents. But if I were to have used styles, then you'd see this. Now, for example, I've used title here, and as I sort of scroll over this, you should be able to see a change, as you can see. So that's because I have used the header style. Alright, so likewise, if you have used styles throughout your whole document, it would update based on this, right? So styles are very powerful and quite useful. So applying a style is quite easy. So I'm going to go back to the home tab. Yeah, I've selected a particular type of style. So I'm just going to just use that particular style and show you how you go about using styles. So for example, if you want to apply a header, you can just go header like that, and that will be headers. So I'm going to undo it. So Control Z to undo them. Now, where the header comes in useful is when you're having a numbered item. Now, I've copied a bit of information from the EasyFs file which was exported, which is the numbering of the notes. So I'll quickly show you how you can actually use headers effectively here. Now, the first thing I want to do is I only want to use this area of information. So the way you get rid of, say, a column in a table, if you were to hit delete, all it does is just delete the information there. So Control Z again. So if you want to actually get rid of this particular part of the table, you select it, and if you cut it, say Control, you can either say cut from here or Control X to cut it. You can just get left with the information. So I'm going to just select the row again and put cut again. I didn't want the header either. Now, the next thing is I want this to be part of the document, not in a table. So the way to convert text to a table is you first select it, and then you can go into the layout here, and you can say convert to text, and you select, in this instance you select a paragraph marker, and you'd say okay. As you can see, I've gotten rid of the table and it's part of my text here. Now I'm going to just quickly format this to header 1, and I'm going to quickly format this to header 2. So as soon as you format that, you can see on the navigation pane. So to get your navigation pane, you go to view and you click navigation pane. I also normally click ruler because that's very useful when editing. So navigation pane is where you can see your headers and footers. Okay, I'm going to go back to the home tab. Now with the navigation pane, you can actually navigate to each of the items quickly as well. What you can also do is you can also rearrange it, as you can see there. I moved that to the bottom, so I'm going to move this back up again. So you can also rearrange stuff, right? So it's very powerful, and as soon as you use the header styles, this enables you to also come to references and insert a table of contents. Okay, so as you can see, I've inserted a table of contents which is identical to. I'm going to just copy this so you can see some information here as well. Alright, so that is the information, and that's the table of contents. So like I said, you can navigate to each of the areas. So it's quite useful. Now I'm going to quickly show you how you can actually create your own style. So for example, now I've created a style and I've applied it here. Now I've applied header 2 here, and I've applied header 1 to these two. So if, for example, now that's header 1. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could maybe, if I go and just make this, change the color of that. As you can see, nothing changes here, right? But if I were to have selected this and come here and say modify, and I want it to be, I just change the color to black, and I say OK. As you can see, both of these would change, right? Now what you can also do is, if you come here and you say modify and you say automatically update. So this is some of the trainers would say that it is risky to turn this on, because what it does is, when you turn it on, whenever you make a change to your header, it will automatically update the style. Now that can be quite useful, because if you were to change a header appearance, you don't have to worry about changing it throughout the rest of the document. It will automatically update. So I'm just going to show you how it works. I'm going to click that on and say OK. Now if I come here and I select that, and for example, if I say there's going to be no color, as you can see, it immediately changed it. It immediately updated the style as well. Alright, so that is quite powerful, and it makes sure that your entire document is consistent. Likewise, if I select it and if I hit bold, you can quickly get it changed as well. And you can also go and change it back again to say that, okay, I've done my formatting, I don't want it to be updated anymore. So that's another quick way of actually getting it formatted. Right, now that I've changed it away, what you can also do is say, if I come here and if I say borders, and I'm going to say none. Okay, now suppose that's my new style which I want the headers to be. So you can always select the paragraph, then right click it and say update header 1 to match, and it updated it. As you can see, changed the header down here. So that's how you go about creating. Now within I'm just going to modify again. Within this modify, the secret to this whole thing is it has this button at the bottom, which actually gives you access to every single formatting that can be done to a normal paragraph here. So that is because it's one of the standard ones, but you can also go and create your own ones. For example, suppose I have this text. Now this text is set up on normal, but suppose I want it to have an automatic tab towards the right. So I just click tab here, which actually tabbed and moved the tab markers in. Right, now suppose I don't want to have to do this all the time. Alright, I want to be able to align my text towards one tab towards the right. Now I can go and create my own style, and I might call this, says, with naming your tabs, I would normally give it a relatively short name. As you can see here, if it is too long, what tends to happen is it gets cut off and you get those 3 dots at the end. It makes it useless because you can't actually see what the rest of the text you typed in. So keeping it short does make it easy. So I'm going to just call it tab 1, and I'm going to put an M for normal. Okay, and that's what I'm going to be setting. So I'm going to say OK. And now if I needed this, and as you can see, tab 1 appeared here. So if I needed, so that's a pain, I don't need to keep that open. So if I needed this one to be the same format, I just come and hit tab 1. That way you can quickly format your entire document and keep it quite consistent. So for example, and also quite easy to update. If I go to modify, and if I say I want these ones to be a bit more spaced out, and say okay, you can see it actually modifies everything. Okay, I don't even need to have it selected. If I come here and say modify, and if I say okay, I just want it to be close again, and I say okay, it will automatically update everything that has got that style. Now another important thing which I wanted to show you was which unfortunately is always turned off in the base model of Word. You need to just go and turn it on. So I'm going to show you how you go to turn this functionality on, so that you can see what format has been applied. Now when you're here, you actually can't see what format has been applied. So if you go to File, Option, and then head off to Advanced, and then scroll down to Display, and under the display you will be able to see Style Area Pane Width. Normally this is set to 0, which means you can't actually see it. Now I have set it to 3 centimeters, and after I set it, I just leave it at 3 centimeters. So okay, so as you can see, you can't see it here, but when you go to the view, and if either in outline view or draft view, you can see it. So if I go to outline view, you can see every style that has been applied, and every line or every paragraph of Word will have a style applied to it. Okay, and that's how you can update it quickly. Alright, and this is also how you can actually see which style has been applied. You can switch back to your styles from down here as well. Okay, so that is very an important item which I just wanted to show you as well. Now once you created your styles here, you might want to not have to create it every time, or just create a style for a particular type of report that you're writing, for example the financial statements. So once you've created your styles and you got your styles all showing here on the home tab, what you do is you go into design, and you come down here and you click on this little arrow, and you have here save as new style. Now I've already created a custom style here which looks pretty similar to what we have here, maybe not. As you can see, that's a slightly different style, that's a different style, even these ones are different style, but these are preset style or built-in styles. So if you want to create your own style based on what you've just done, what I've just set up here, for example, I don't want any of these ones, I don't want my preset style, or that is my current style in this document, but I want to save it to a custom style. So you come to save as new style set, and you will give it a name. So this name basically, and this particular file can be shared with other users as long as they paste it in the same folder. They'll be able to have your set of styles, or you can send the document and they can see, when you open the document, you can see the document style in that document and try and save it as well. But this may be an easier way to distribute a consistent style throughout the organization. Okay, so that's how you go about. So you give it a name and you save it and it'll appear. So for example, if I say test and I hit save, I got a style saved. Alright, so that's my style. Now if I come here and if I want to apply that style again, I have my style here which I've just applied. That's the style which was there previously, and this is my test style. So as you can see, if you hover over it, it'll give you the name of the style. Alright, so you can always come and click that and then use it. So but it's the same as the current word, so I'm not going to click it. You can also save themes. A theme is a little bit more broader than a style. A theme also includes colors, so you can create a color palette here and change it. For example, as you can see, it has changed, so you can create a color. So normally that's just a normal office font, the standard one. You can also set a font style. Now you can set various types of fonts, and that too will get saved with the theme. Here I've created one particular theme. Likewise, you can create a theme. So with themes, it also saves fonts, colors. You can also set your default paragraph spacing, and also you can set some effects. And then you can save your theme. So if you want to if you want Word to open up with your theme always, you can always select your theme and then click set as default. So if you set it as default, whenever you open your Word document, it'll open up with that style, which can be very useful if you're working on a particular document all the time and you need a particular style, or if your organization has a particular style that you want everybody to be using. Alright, so I think that's everything I wanted to cover in Word styles. One other thing, so when you come to the table of contents, you want to update it, you can just click on update, and then you can say whether to update the whole template or just the numbers. If you've added more headers, you might want to update the whole the entire table rather than just the numbers. I'll be stopping the video here and then continuing it in part 2 of this series.